So here's a quick little video on some of the little more routine type work I do. Not as exciting or fun, you know, race car based or whatever, but so this is the start of a commercial truck rack. It goes on a truck with a flatbed. So this is one side, or actually both sides of the frame stacked together. This truck actually gets two narrow racks with like a gap in the center. And so this is the other side. And this is sitting upside down. It's just easier to build that way. It's all 2-inch 120 wall. And these racks get kind of boxed in with these plates back here that have these kind of like mesh panels. So something I thought would be kind of cool to share, kind of how I build these. When I lay these out, I build the bottom layer first, you know, and I follow all the measurements, and I'm very careful with you know, the placement and the tubes being straight and square, and you know, you got like 3 dimensions to worry about with square tubing. You know, it needs to be flush. You know, it needs to be this plane dead even with this plane, and it needs to be square. So like I said, I'm real careful with the first layer, and then it's a lot of measuring and careful work. So once it's set, then I just lay it down. Typically I build them like this to start, and then I'll lay it down, and then I just use these magnets to stick the pieces together and then clamp them. And I just basically go all the way around and clamp the whole piece together, and basically uses the first layer that I set as a jig for the second layer. And then that way, you know, they come out exactly the same. And it's just a lot faster. So it's faster and, you know, and actually more accurate. You see, I didn't design these racks, I'm just building them, but to kind of a cool idea that the guy that designed them is mitering the corners. It's a little more work on the bandsaw, excuse me, but that way you don't have to make separate caps to plug the ends of open tubing. And these aren't done. This is just like the bare frame. There's, you know, upright pieces that go in between. I've got like a whole stack of the materials here. So I'm not sure, I think I've probably mentioned it in some of my older videos. I spent 20 years, almost exactly 20 years, in like the commercial truck world, doing new upfits on commercial vehicles. So like a new Ford 550, somebody would purchase, and the shops I would work in typically are set up like a middleman between the OEM manufacturer of the chassis and the dealership. And so the dealership would make a sale. The customer would say, I want a service body or a flatbed or a dump truck or whatever. We would get the chassis, set it all up to completion, and then send it to the dealership. So I built literally hundreds of racks in that 20 years, and, you know, custom hitches and pretty much anything you can imagine in the commercial truck world. Snow plows, flatbeds, dump trucks, service bodies, scissor lifts, lift gates, you name it. So I've got a lot of experience in that kind of stuff. And, you know, when I was young, I started out in the off-road truck shops, doing lift kits and stuff like that, but I really, I guess you'd say, honed my skills as a fabricator in the commercial truck world. So there's a lot of crossover, and, you know, between those two. I just figured I would kind of show some of the other things I do. You know, in a perfect world, I'd work on race cars every day, but that's just not reality. So I left the commercial truck world about 3 or 4 years ago and started working for myself. You know, I still have a lot of contacts in that world, so I still do quite a bit of this work. But I got a couple more Samurais lined up to work on in the near future. Which for me, that's what makes me excited. You know, this stuff's cool, and it's cool to build something that you know is gonna go out in the world and make someone a living. So I like that part a lot, but it's a lot more fun to build, you know, off-road toys and fun stuff. So anyway, hopefully there was something useful in this. Like I said, kind of using your own parts as a jig for duplications, kind of a time saver. But anyway, I'll probably do another quick video on these when they're all done. I build them here, and then they get transported up to a shop that does the powder coating. They get sandblasted, because lately the tubing from the supplier has been a little rusty. This is a little subpar in my opinion, but luckily these get all sandblasted and then a real high quality powder coat job. Unfortunately, I never see them after that. Once they leave here, that's the last time I see them. So I won't have a finished product picture necessarily, but maybe my contact at the truck shop could send me a picture once these are mounted on a truck, because I would like to see that. But anyway, if anybody needs any of this kind of work, feel free to reach out to me. And also my communication's a little easier. I use Instagram a lot for that, and it's downing.fabrication is my Instagram handle. So if any of this is interesting or helpful for you, let me know. Thanks.